Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Shayla, and today I am here with my coach, Alex. If you are totally unaware and confused about what I am talking about, I am doing a bodybuilding show in November. It's my first show ever, and so naturally I had to hire a coach because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I've never counted macros in my life. I've never worked out like this, so it's definitely been a really cool journey so far. So if you're new, make sure to check out the playlist linked down below. I thought it would be fun to do a Q&A with him today because I get so many questions and very frequently asked questions, and I'm sure you do too, of the same things. So I figured that we could just put it all together in one video. And excuse us if it is loud in the background. We are in the gym. I'll make sure I'll try to edit that out, but who knows how that's gonna go.
People are ruining our Q&A by working out.
I know, I mean,
rude.
how dare they while we sit here and answer questions. Yeah. I'm first gonna just start out with basic questions. So what inspired you to start coaching? Have you been a coach? How long have you been a coach for?
I've been, not gonna age myself, but I've been doing this for about 20 years. I started right out of high school, of course.
Really?
Yeah, well, I was an athlete, of course, in high school, football, track, all that stuff. Never really stopped working out.
An athlete in high school, and you just went straight into training after that?
No. So I was always working out. I was starting to shape a little bit. I was getting asked a lot of questions, like, well, what are you doing for this? What are you doing for that? Finally hit me, like, well, you know, you can get paid.
You could get paid for this.
And I'll admit, when I first started, like, I was not good at all. No, it was because it was a lot of bro science, a lot of stuff that I'd heard.
It wasn't really like, you know, as meticulous and actual science-based as kind of what you're doing now.
It was just what I had been told. One of the biggest flaws that I made was kind of what people do now is, like, people would come up to me, what are you eating? And people would assume that, hey, if I eat like this guy,
I'm gonna look like that.
I'm gonna look like him. And I do what they're doing, man. It doesn't work like that. And
right.
I learned that, of course, years later.
But as far as like coaching bodybuilding athletes, how long have you been doing that?
I'm doing the better part of 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually had the privilege and opportunity to work around a lot of people in the business. My coach, Gabe Salas, he actually guided me through a lot of stuff. I learned was from him, and That's really cool to have a mentor like that. Yeah, I mean, and I think it's important. Like, I'm forever a student.
Yeah.
You know, I do have a lot of knowledge, but I always am learning. One thing that never changes is the consistency that is required in anything.
Right.
As long as you're consistent, you don't have to crash diet. And yeah, that consistency is always key. And
how many active competitors do you have right now?
Right now, I have 3. And the reason why I generally don't take on a lot,
but I like that.
Yeah.
You don't want to act like you're just like a number or like a client,
sure,
right? You want,
sure.
He very much like personalized my plan around me. And if I have a question, which I have a million.
Yeah. Are these all your questions? Like, nobody... That was always the point of taking on competitors, because it is not only taxing for the competitor.
Yeah.
I did compete, and I know how important a good coach is to have that support. Not somebody to baby you, but to make sure that you're doing what you need to do. So keeping a small team really, really helps that out.
For sure. And if someone was interested in wanting to hire you, how do they do that? What's the process? Are you an Instagram DMer? Are you website? What's your thing?
Yeah, I'm working on my website right now.
Great.
But until we get that launched, you can find me on Instagram. You'll put the right one,
tag.
Please. Yeah.
I put the wrong tag on my first video.
Like, I'm pretty sure that coach got whoever that was. It wasn't me. I actually stopped watching the video after that. Okay.
Do you think things like BCAAs and protein supplements actually make a difference?
So the thing with BCAAs, branched-chain amino acids, is the myth is that they help preserve muscle when going on these extreme diets or when you're doing excessive cardio. The truth of the matter is, in those studies where you receive positive results, those subjects were very, very protein deficient, meaning that they were taking in like a bare minimum amount of protein.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's where you saw the results.
Got
but
it.
The everyday person who's taking in their protein intake, which majority of the people that I interact with are taking in too much protein.
Yeah.
Right. Remember that protein, the amount that we take in is going to be 1 gram per relatively lean pound of body mass. So people think that it's okay, I weigh 200 pounds, I'm going to take in 200 grams of protein. No, I'm not solid 200-pound muscle, right?
Right.
So a good way to do that, this pregame, is to calculate 0.75 or start off at 0.75 grams per pound, and that'll kind of give you an idea.
Interesting.
Yeah. So BCAAs, unless you're very extremely protein deficient, they're kind of a waste. And your protein supplements are exactly what they're called. It's supplements.
Yeah, it's supplemental.
We use it in addition to quality whole foods. You want something.
You don't want to rely on just protein powder for your protein intake.
Yeah.
Do you think good genetics matter when it comes to bodybuilding?
Absolutely. It helps. It definitely helps.
It helps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, when considering and starting a bodybuilding journey, or a competitive journey rather, it's like anything else. You do your research, find a good coach that's going to be transparent with you. A lot of times, in my experience, you have a person who's not ready to compete anytime soon, but a coach will take them on because they need clients, and they'll extreme diet them, and you really have to be careful, because a lot of these diets, you are in an extreme deficit, and later on down the road, if you
and y'all are going to see that with me getting in an extreme deficit, but it's for a show. I need everyone to understand that it's not lifestyle at all.
Well, and this actually goes with this question, is that some people's preps are going to be easier than others, and genetics does have to do with it. Like
That's a great answer.
You are going to be in a very fortunate situation because you have a good coach. One.
Oh my God.
Because your work ethic, but your genetics.
Yeah. I'm lean.
Are going to help you out. So that way, when we get closer, we really don't have to be in an extreme deficit. And that's my goal with all my clients, is to never have them have to be completely miserable. You're going to be uncomfortable, but it's tolerable. And our work that we do in the gym will show on the stage.
Yeah.
We're used to training under a little bit of fatigue, and that's a big misconception. You see those people on the stage, like, wow, they look great, but they probably feel miserable.
Yeah.
So we're going to be so used to that, to like working whenever we're tired. There's nothing left in the tank. We'll never lose because we're tired.
So if someone doesn't necessarily come from an Olympian gymnast and a college collegiate football player like I do they have the chance to go bodybuilding? Is it something they can do?
Absolutely. I've had clients that they don't have a true athletic background, and we get them there, but it takes time. A lot of
your work ethic, I feel like, has to be just a little bit harder. I mean, for me, for example, my upper body is very overly developed because of gymnastics, but my lower half is not. And he's very transparent with me about it, which I need, but in a way where it's not like, you don't have a butt. It's more just like, we need to work on, certain aspects in order to get you stage ready. It's the same thing. So, those are the aspects I need to work on versus someone else might need lower body dominant. So genetics do play a role, but they play a role in everything.
Yep.
Your diet, the way that you are wired, your work ethic in general. I feel like genetics play a role in everything.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean, you have to come from this super athletic family in order to get on that journey.
Yeah.
You can start. That work ethic you put into it is what you're going to bring on stage.
Absolutely. My athletes, I expect them to be relatively lean the year round. We can put on quality muscle. This way, when we go into prep, some people do 20 weeks, some people do. We could get away with an actual prep restriction, 12 weeks.
Really?
Maybe 8 weeks, as long as we are staying relatively lean.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the idea.
Misconception that I get a lot of DMs about is you're on a cut. You're like lowering your calories per week. When in reality, what he's been doing is adding calories per week. I started at 1,400, and I was complaining to him about how it was too much food.
Yeah, no, actually, I think we started to do around 17. Just to.
Oh, right. You're right. You're right.
But again, this is where I'm a little different than my peers in my system. Focus on the micronutrients rather than just the macronutrients.
Yes.
Right? So your macronutrients, of course, being your proteins, your carbs, your fat. You can hit those numbers, but if you're not taking in the micronutrients, then your absorption isn't what it should be. Your overall body function. Because I can have you looking amazing.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
I can have you looking amazing, but if you feel like shit, what's the point?
Right.
If you eat more, generally, if you eat more quality nutrients, if you have more of those in your food, you can actually. And you're seeing that, I think we're at 22?
Almost 23.
Yeah, and what'd you just tell me? You're starving. Yeah, you're
Starving.
Yeah, like I mean.
So we're increasing again.
Yeah, which lets me know that the metabolism is on fire, which is it's gonna pay off in the end because that's less cardio we have to do. You had a question. There was a question about cardio, right? About excessive cardio.
Yes, I get a lot of people are DMing me saying it's because you are doing so much cardio is why you're so lean, when I'm really not.
The idea that the cardio should be done in your workout, right? If I give you a workout and then expect you to do 60 minutes after, you messed up somewhere in your workout.
Right.
You're taking too much time. And what we do is, if you can kill two birds with one stone, why not do that? This is why you're able to eat so much and stay lean. We're going to keep increasing until we find a medium to where you're able to put on the muscle and the fat. It's going to give a little bit, but not to extremes to where you're tapering off at the end and trying to compensate, which is defeats the purpose. I've never understood it.
Cardio is gonna increase for me on the cutting phase. But right now I'm not cutting. I'm not even considered in prep. I'm trying to build, and the reason why we started so early is he had to see how my body reacts to certain foods.
Exactly.
He had to see how I look, like he said, what's underneath. And by underneath, I mean I've lost maybe 3 pounds, that's it. So it's not like I'm losing a ton of weight, but he just wants to see my muscle build up and what we need to work on. Because if you have that extra layer on, you're not going to see exactly those areas that you need to work on. So we're just still increasing calories. My cardio is less than an hour a week. Yeah, I mean I burn a ton of calories just weightlifting. Like you said, it's that endurance. He has it to where I have short breaks in between lifting, and not just you're just constantly sweating and moving and your heart rate's up the whole time. That it's like cardio lifting, which I love. That's my favorite kind of workout.
Yes.
Is lifting with short breaks in between, because you're just on fire the whole time.
You said something that's crucial. We started early because that is one thing that I need to understand is what foods,
Intolerances.
yeah, how your body responds to certain foods. Generally, when I do a consult, we talk about stuff that for a fact that you just don't do well with. So I can cross those out, but then we have different types of carb sources, we have different types of fats that we need to experiment with. That way I know, okay, whenever we're trying to carb you back up, okay, you do well with there. Mine is sweet potatoes. I
think mine is too.
I do very well with sweet potatoes. Some people do very well with rice. It depends on
And what he's saying there, if you guys watch my videos and you're like, oh, if I eat exactly what she's eating, I'm gonna get lean like her. Just going off of that point, everybody's body is totally different in reactions to certain things. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and give Alex a follow. DM him if you're interested in anything or have any general questions. He posts a lot of Q&A boxes on his stories, so if you have questions for him that you want him to answer, make sure you give him a follow so he can answer those for you guys. It's so people are dropping weights like crazy. Yeah. So I'm gonna go, but thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.